Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sit down with Oprah Winfrey airs right here on CBS. In it, Markle elaborates on what it means to finally be able to speak for herself.
What if one interview changed everything for a royal family, a media icon, and the entire world? In March 2021, Oprah Winfrey sat down with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, igniting a conversation that shook the British monarchy. They made serious allegations of racism, discussed mental health struggles, and revealed secret royal conversations. The world reacted with shock. Now, years later, Oprah is finally speaking out. What she has to say is even more revealing than anything Meghan shared during the interview. Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will completely change your perspective on that pivotal night. This is the story that had not been fully told until now, the night that stopped the world, what the interview actually was. To truly grasp the significance of Oprah's recent silence and her eventual statements, we must revisit the beginning. March 7th, 2021. On that Sunday night, an interview was filmed in Santa Barbara County, California, following Prince Harry and Meghan's January 2020 announcement that they would step down as working members of the British royal family. The interview wasn't initially marketed as a bombshell. It was presented as a conversation, a chance for two individuals who had stepped away from privilege and power to share their story in their own words. Finally. However, what unfolded during that 2-hour interview was far beyond what the producers and even Oprah herself could have anticipated. The discussion delved into their courtship, wedding, their second child's gender, mental health challenges, including Meghan's suicidal thoughts, and a shared feeling of abandonment concerning emotional and financial support. One revelation after another came to light, creating a powerful narrative that captivated the audience as history unfolded before them. In a particularly heartbreaking moment, Meghan disclosed that she experienced methodical thoughts of suicide while in the royal family. That was a very clear, real, and frightening thought, she admitted. The audience and the entire viewing world fell silent. This was not mere celebrity gossip. It was a woman articulating the darkest moments of her life on camera with one of the most influential interviewers alive. Oprah later shared that she had meticulously prepared for the interview, emphasizing the importance of ensuring that what was presented to the public wasn't misconstrued before the actual airing. She recalled that the Raw interview lasted 3 hours and 20 minutes, and once it concluded, she urged the crew to keep everything they had heard strictly confidential. The extensive nature of what was discussed and the implications it carried sent shockwaves from California to Buckingham Palace. Yet nothing shook the global public consciousness more than what transpired next. The race bomb, Archie's skin color, and the conversation that defined a decade. If there was one moment that transformed this interview from a celebrity tell-all into a historic reckoning, it was this. After Meghan described the discussions about how Archie would not be given the title of prince and would not receive security, she revealed that there were conversations. At the same time, she was pregnant with how dark Archie's skin color might be. CBS News. The world seemed to freeze at this revelation. In the months when I was pregnant, around the same time, we had the conversation that he won't be given security, he won't be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born, Meghan explained. What? Oprah asked in disbelief. Who is having that conversation with you? What? CBS News. Even Oprah, who has interviewed presidents, popes, and survivors of all kinds of trauma, was visibly stunned. She pressed Meghan for more information, repeating herself, and the word "what" became one of the most replayed moments in television history. Meghan relayed secondhand comments allegedly made to Harry, not to her. She suggested that during her pregnancy there had been concerns and conversations about how dark Archie's skin might be when he was born. In contrast, when asked about the same topic, Harry stated it was a single instance. That conversation I'm never going to share, but at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked. Wikipedia, this discrepancy sparked controversy. Were there multiple conversations or just one? Was Meghan exaggerating or was Harry downplaying the situation? This is a question that royal commentators continue to debate today. What was not debatable was the royal family's official response. Buckingham Palace stated on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen that read, "The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately." NPR. Notice that phrase, "while some recollections may vary." It was polite and measured. But for anyone paying attention, it also signified the palace gently but clearly pushing back. Days later, Prince William, when asked by a reporter, firmly stated, "We are very much not a racist family." Royal insider. Meanwhile, Oprah, speaking to CBS the morning after the interview, quickly clarified one crucial detail. Prince Harry did not disclose the identity of the royal family member involved, but he wanted Oprah, and ultimately the public, to know that it was not his grandmother or grandfather who had taken part in those conversations. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were not part of it. However, the identity of the person involved has never been publicly confirmed, and that ambiguity has haunted the British royal family ever since. The Hollywood Reporter. Oprah finally speaks. "I had no idea it would have this impact." Here is a part that many people have forgotten or perhaps never fully heard. Oprah Winfrey, the woman who orchestrated one of the most watched interviews in modern television history, admits that she was just as blindsided as the rest of us. "I had no idea that it would have the reverberating impact that it has had and continues to have," Oprah stated. "I did a lot of preparation for that. It was really important to me that what we put out into the world was released at a time when everybody could see it, and that things didn't leak or get misconstrued before the actual interview happened." This is crucial. Oprah's words reflect not the voice of a manipulative media queen pulling strings, but rather that of someone who genuinely believed she was creating a safe, controlled space for a couple to share their truth, and was shocked by the fallout. Then came an even more revealing admission. Speaking on CBS Mornings in September 2022, Winfrey said, "I was as surprised by the bombshell as everybody else. I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. That was my number one intention, which was just to provide clarity. And so, some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me." Let that sink in. The woman conducting the interview, one of the greatest interviewers alive, claims that some of the bombshell revelations caught her off guard. This means the interview wasn't entirely staged. Meghan and Harry were not simply reading from a pre-approved script. They went further than even Oprah had anticipated, which arguably made the interview both powerful and dangerous. Terry Wood, former executive vice president at Oprah's Harpo Productions, later defended Meghan, saying, "Meghan understands her voice better than you, better than any producer could put it out there." However, even this defense, while supportive of Meghan, subtly acknowledges something important. Meghan herself was deeply in control of her own narrative. This raises the question, if Meghan was in total control of her own story, and some of what she said surprised even Oprah, what does that mean for the verifiability of her claims? The fallout that nobody predicted, a monarchy, a friendship, and a reputation tested. The immediate aftermath of the interview was monumental. Television ratings exceeded expectations. Global headlines dominated the news. Social media exploded, and public opinion became sharply divided. People were either on Team Meghan or Team Palace, and regardless of where they stood, the opposing side labeled them as deluded. It has been 4 years since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey sent shockwaves through both the royal family and the world at large. This explosive sit-down became a defining moment in modern royal history, revealing deep fractures within the monarchy. However, the impact of the interview extended beyond Buckingham Palace. It also affected Oprah Winfrey's reputation. Critics, especially in the UK, contended that Oprah failed as a journalist, arguing that she was too deferential, too empathetic, and too willing to accept unchallenged claims as facts. No evidence suggests that Oprah has expressed regret about not challenging Meghan and Harry more. Her statements and actions since the broadcast indicate that she supports the program's editorial approach and the interview's intent. Despite this, the damage to perception had already occurred. In Britain particularly, Oprah's image suffered. Some viewed her as being weaponized, a trusted global figure lending credibility to claims that the royal family considered exaggerated, misremembered, or outright false. The political world also weighed in. Global reactions poured in, including from the White House. Press Secretary Jen Psaki remarked, "For anyone to come forward and speak about their own struggles with mental health and tell their own personal story, that takes courage." Michelle Obama shared her hope for forgiveness and unity within the family. She stated, "I hope that, when I think about what they're going through, I focus on the importance of family. I pray that there is forgiveness, clarity, love, and resolve at some point, because there's nothing more important than family." Beyond the political and public relations battles, a more personal story was unfolding. Royal author Tom Quinn told The Mirror that Harry regrets the Oprah interview because it did not yield the results he and Meghan had hoped for. Their friends encouraged them to think the world would want to hear their truth, but instead, they were largely mocked and criticized and completely cut off by the royal family. Consider this: a couple risks everything, their titles, their family relationships, their place in history, to do one interview. They hoped for reconciliation, vindication, and global sympathy. Yet these outcomes did not materialize fully or neatly. The interview they believed would liberate them may have only tightened their constraints. The truth about Oprah and Meghan's friendship, what's real and what's rumor. The question of what happened between Oprah and Meghan after their interview has created a lot of gossip and curiosity. Did they remain friends, grow closer, or start to drift apart? Let's look at what we know. Rumors that Oprah cut off Meghan or felt used have spread widely, especially on YouTube and Facebook, with many sensational videos. However, the facts tell a different story. In December 2024, Oprah shared that Meghan sent her a Tatcha skincare gift, which Oprah said was one of her favorites. She called Meghan a neighbor friend, showing that she still considers her a friend. Since the interview, Oprah and Meghan have met several times, including at a local bookstore in their Montecito neighborhood. They live close to each other in Montecito, California, where Harry and Meghan moved after leaving their royal duties. They are not estranged, they are neighbors and friends. Though private tensions may exist, the public evidence shows a different narrative than what is often reported online. The relationship between Oprah and Meghan has changed since the interview. Oprah has spoken about her feelings regarding that interview. When asked about a possible reconciliation between Prince Harry and his brother, Prince William, Oprah made it clear she would not get involved. She wants to focus on her own life and work while maintaining her friendship. Terry Wood, the executive producer of the interview, summed it up well. Meghan was genuinely trying to be herself during that time. Whether that authenticity helped everyone involved is still a debate. What it all means now, the legacy of one interview and why it still matters in 2025. 4 years have passed since the famous interview aired. It created a friendship and showed a monarchy in crisis. It featured a couple starting fresh in California and Oprah Winfrey, a powerful woman reflecting on it all. Many have thought about how this interview impacted the world, but impact doesn't mean resolution. This is why the story continues. The interview didn't mend the divide between Harry and the royal family. Despite Michelle Obama's hopes for healing, tensions have grown. In 2023, Harry published his memoir, Spare, which seemed to make things worse. The interview also left some big questions unanswered, like who commented on Archie's skin color. That mystery remains, affecting trust in the royal family in a way that may never be fully repaired. However, the interview did achieve some important goals. It allowed Meghan to discuss her thoughts on suicide, helping to reduce the stigma around mental health. It forced Britain to face uncomfortable truths about race and privilege, questioning whether the royal family is as modern and inclusive as it claims. The interview sparked a necessary discussion about racism within the royal family and its long, often violent history. Much of the credit for starting this conversation, even if messy, goes to Oprah. Looking back, what does Oprah think? The best insight comes from her appearance on CBS Mornings in September 2022, where she admitted she was surprised by some revelations. She has been careful not to defend herself or abandon Meghan. She has also not publicly criticized Harry or made dramatic statements. Instead, she has remained strategically in the center of this complex situation. After the 3-hour interview, Oprah told her crew to keep the details confidential. She said, "We all know what was said here and how important it is to have trust in the people who just shared that. And they respected that privacy. This moment shows who Oprah Winfrey is. She protects stories and values the interview space. She took this responsibility seriously, even though the interview became controversial. For Oprah, breaking silence is not just one moment, it's a careful, ongoing process. She hasn't shouted her thoughts loudly. She hasn't written a memoir or done a rebuttal interview. Instead, she shares her truth in small pieces. Comments here, public appearances there, and quiet acknowledgments of gifts. That might be the best ending to this story. A groundbreaking interview, a changed world, and 2 women. One who spoke and one who listened, still figuring out what they helped create. Do you think Oprah should have pushed harder during the interview? Should she have challenged some claims right away? Or did her role as a listener give Harry and Meghan what they needed? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video thought-provoking, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We're just getting started on stories the mainstream media won't finish telling. See you next time.